멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가
Welcome everybody to my top 10 best fighting anime. My name is Misty /Kenichi, and today I'm hoping to bring you the clash of the century. It's not gonna be Logan Paul versus KSI Big, but hey, we're gonna make it fun. A few years ago I made a similar top 10 called the best martial arts anime. It was pretty decent, but not quite to the flavor I wanted, so I'm doing a different spin on it. The rules are simple. It has to be revolving around fighting. I'm not reusing any of the previous titles I had on that list, so if you're not satisfied because a show you expected didn't make the cut, it's probably because it's shit, or it ended on the other list. And I'm also avoiding the boring, obvious entries. If you want Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Bleach, go listen to Watch Mojo. The point is to get you to watch new stuff, so let's go! But before we actually dive in, I want to tell you that this episode is sponsored by Bookwalker. My boys at Bookwalker, you know them, you heard of them before. They're the amazing company that brings you awesome mangas on the fly. This week until October 15, they're having an event about the manga Baki, which is just in line with today's list. If you dig some hot fighting action, this story will have you hooked. That's a punching joke. The first chapter is free, you try it out, if you like it, boom, 50% off the first volume. Baki is not for the faint of hearts. It is a series about underground martial arts. They're fighting against death row inmates who have nothing to lose. It's pure bloodshed in the coolest way possible. But if that gets you weak in the knees because you like romance stuff, feel free to browse Bookwalker's collection. There's so much more to enjoy. If you use the coupon code MISTY, you get $5 off of any first purchase you make there. It's essentially a book for free. Try one out with the link in the description below. It helps me out too, so that's always fun. But let's kick this list off now. Number 10, Sekirei. I'm starting this off with something slightly mellow. Bit of action, bits of ecchi, for those who want a decent amount of entertainment without all the technicality of fighting. Sekirei is a tournament, not really battle arena, where a human teams up with an extraterrestrial alien girl by sharing a kiss which awaken hidden abilities in her. She must face off against other enemies in this survival match called the Sekirei Plan. Overall, it's a fairly predictable anime that's still quite enjoyable regardless. Reminds me of one of my favorite anime called My Hime. Think of it like a mix between High School DxD, Freezing, and Fate Stay Night. Easily digestible and quite entertaining. It wins the rank number 10. Number 9, Flame of Rekha. Let's go back all the way to the late 90s for this one. If you like all the best aspect of Dragon Ball, Kenshin, Naruto, and Kaze no Stigma, this is gonna be right up your alley. Despite its slightly outdated visual and the 3x4 format, Flame of Rekha aged tremendously well. It's a story of a ninja from a legendary wiped-out clan who can control fire. It's basically a differently flavored Itachi. Rekha meets a girl with the power to heal any injuries, and together they unleash a chain of events that they constantly try to bounce back from. It's a captivating anime with really fun battles that goes by in a flash. Number 9 is still pretty high on this list, but that takes nothing away from its greatness. I recommend it wholeheartedly. Number 8, Baki. Oh hells yeah, I'm gonna include it in the list. Baki is a currently airing net anime with about 15 episodes out at the moment. It had a prequel about like 17 years ago called Baki the Grappler, maybe you heard of it. It was about 48 episodes long if you truly want to start by the origin point, but truth be told, it's not paramount. Like I said earlier, the story is about Baki, a martial artist who must go up against death row inmates and defeat them in combat, protect his title, and make his way to the top to challenge his father. Based on an equally good manga that you can read on Bookwalker with a coupon code MISTY, shameless plug. It's definitely a story I recommend. Number 7, Hinomaruzumo. A little backstory time. Back in 2015, my girlfriend and I went to Japan. I proposed to her and she then became my wife. Not the point of the story. While I was there though, being the weeb that I am, I said to myself, yo, I'll buy a copy of Shonen Jump, I can afford it. In it was this manga called Hinomaruzumo, and I was hooked. Got back, read all the chapter, and now they're making an anime? Sign me the fuck up! The anime just started airing, I don't know which way I'll go. My guess is they're gonna knock it out of the park, same way they did with Food Wars. The story is about an aspiring sumo wrestler who joins the sumo club of his high school. Problem is that the main character is neither big or heavy. It's a great read, and the anime is looking hella tight so far.
とくと味わえはっきなんだ二人とも知り合いかいや知ってるも何もこいつ昨日まで
Number 6, Kyokara Orewa. Here's something a tiny bit more obscure veterans of you might not know about. Kyokara Orewa is an OVA that came out in the 90s, and it's about two rebellious kids who are tired of their normal life, so they seek out thrill by becoming delinquents. They meet and start off disliking each other, but they soon start to bond, and together they'll take on all of Japan's delinquents. It can be a little bit tricky to find the anime, but if you do, you'll have a hell of a good story. The characters are rich, and nothing feels out of place. You have to keep in mind it's an older anime, so smartphones and stuff like that aren't around at all, but if you like Great Teacher Onizuka, this should be right up your speed.
しょうがねえな
そのてっぺんだそれなりじゃ足りねえよ
Number 5, Mugello Box. Mugello Box is an oddball, but to talk about it, I have to mention the anime Ashita no Joe. Ashita no Joe is an anime about boxing that came out in the 70s. It was really good, so they made a reboot. And this is where Mugello Box comes in. It kept the same spirit that Ashita no Joe had, but it modernized it quite a bit. Each fighter is equipped with gear, mechanical enhancement that makes each punch hit like a truck. Our main character Joe can't afford this kind of equipment, so he enters the tournament as Gearless Joe, the underdog. Yet somehow with his moxie, he fights his way up the ladder to challenge the top fighter and win the tournament. The anime is a great homage with pretty cool reference if you saw the original. Try it if you like underdog stories. Number 4, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm gonna inject a bit of supernatural in this list. At this point, I think a lot of people know about JoJo. It's kind of renowned at being the manliest anime ever. Weird poses, memes, and everything in between. But if you take a moment to truly study the anime, you'd find out that the show's real core focus is purely fighting. Whether it's to recruit someone or defeat an enemy, every battle is over the top and the character makes half the story. The plot begins with Jonathan Joestar, the son of a nobleman. After being rescued by a nobody, JoJo's father takes in Dio, an odd child with a strong rivalry with Jonathan. Dio finds an ancient Aztec stone mask, which grants him supernatural power, and he goes on a quest to destroy JoJo's lineage. Really fun anime to try out, especially with friends.
決して許さない君の僕に対する嫌がらせではない僕のチャットして2万円いただくね高っ
Number 3, History's Strongest Disciple, Kenichi. If you can only pick one anime from this list, I hope you'll choose this one. History's Strongest Disciple, I think, is the best fighting anime around. Is the best around. The story is about Kenichi, a wimpy kid with no real interest in fighting until he is forced into the karate club. As he goes through his meticulous training, Kenichi learns the various martial arts from Muay Thai to Jiu-Jitsu and everything in between. He must mix them all together to create his own style. It's an action comedy with just enough romantic interest to keep things on its toes. A show I highly recommend to everyone, but mostly newcomers who simply want one hell of a good story that kicks ass. Because sometimes that's just what you want.
いつの間に
言葉通りの意味だ参る
Number 2, Katanagatari. If you're more into the Japanese lore, this might be more your speed. Katanagatari is the counterforce to Kenichi. Just as entertaining, if not more, but with a whole different approach. The story is about a girl who requests Chichika to join her in a quest to collect 12 unique swords known as the Defiant Blades. There's a lot of great battle in this anime, with loving characters and overall a really cool experience altogether. A bit heavy on the Japanese folklore, so it's a bit understandable how this is not really for everyone, but well worth investing some time in. Because I can assure you, you won't regret watching this anime. I mean, it's number 2! Is that worth anything to you? How much do you trust my opinion at this point, is the real question you should be asking yourself. And finally, sitting at number 1 is Yu Hakusho. This is the original tournament arc anime. Yu Hakusho came out in the 90s with over 100 episodes. Jesus, that's a lot. This story is about a delinquent boy who saves a kid from getting hit by a car, dying in the process. The show starts off with some detective case where Yosuke tried to thwart off evil presence on Earth, but eventually he's transported to another realm, and together with a bunch of hoodlum, they must start training to defeat enemies who threaten humanity itself. I know saying this might rile up some people, and I apologize in advance, although not really, because you should know by now. But Yu Hakusho is just straight up a better Bleach. Likeable cast, climactic events, and then didn't wear it out. If its holder look doesn't turn you away, this is a very strong entry you should try. This is all I could cover for today. If there's anything that catch your eye, be sure to try them out. They're all fantastic in their own right. If I didn't cover one you expected, swing by my top 10 martial arts video. Maybe it'll be in there. And if not, just leave it in the comments below. I'm sure fellow viewers will appreciate it. Don't forget to check out Bookwalker's sweet library. I can see your history and you haven't clicked on it yet. And I know you're not using incognito mode, because you're not watching porn. They got a ton of different mangas for you to appreciate, and they're dirt cheap. If you use my coupon code Misty, you can save a lot on your first purchase too. Thanks for listening, have a fun watch, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Through the hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.